Welcome, welcome to the Mind Fuck Podcast. Yay! Yay! Welcome, my friend. Thank you so much for taking time out to hang out with me. I am honored. I am grateful you're here. My name is Wanu Ali Shea, and sometimes I go by Amazing Soul. Welcome. FCK stands for fun, compassion, and kindness. Now, before we get into today's episode, we have this tradition where I read a list that I titled Reminders to Being Human. And the intention behind reading that list is to remind myself and also to remind you on your journey. Let's get into it. All right. Reminders to being human. Have fun along the journey. Show yourself compassion. Be kind to others. Being complex and being simple can hold true in the same breath. Stay curious. Hold space for pauses. Hold space for not knowing. Never underestimate the power of silence. Nature has a lot of wisdom. Pay attention. There is power in we than I. If nothing else makes sense, come back to love. Pain is our greatest teacher. And the very last one, never underestimate your ripple of existence. Welcome once again, my friend. Now, let's get into the fun part of the show. All right. I want to start today with something that sounds almost obvious. Gratitude is simple. I mean, it's simple to say, it's simple to understand, it's simple to write about it in a journal. But if it's so simple, why is it so hard to actually practice? Especially when you need it the most. Because gratitude is easy when life feels good, right? It's easy when your body feels safe, when the bills are paid, when the relationship feels steady, when you're sleeping well at night, when the pain is quiet, when your nervous system is embracing. But what about when it's not? What about when your body hurts, when you're exhausted, when you feel behind in life, when you're in transition in your life, when you don't even know what might be next coming up in your life? That point is when gratitude becomes complicated. And we don't talk about that enough. Gratitude is regulated. Gratitude requires enough safety in the body to notice something good without scanning for danger. And when you're in survival mode, your brain is not looking for beauty. No, it's looking for threat. So if you've ever struggled on your journey to feel grateful when your life feels heavy, it doesn't mean you're ungrateful. It means your nervous system is simply protecting you. I would always share the times where I remember myself a few years ago lying awake around 3 a.m. and I had constant lower back pain. My mind was constantly racing. My body was bracing all the time. And I would try the gratitude practice. I mean, I would tell myself, I'm grateful for my bed. I'm grateful for my apartment. I'm grateful for my partner. I'm grateful to be alive. And sometimes, saying those things worked. But there were some nights it felt like I was arguing with my body. Because my body 4 years ago did not want a list. My body wanted safety. And that realization was the shift. Gratitude for me became accessible only after I stopped forcing it. I think one of the reasons gratitude feels hard is because we have turned it into a performance. And sometimes we perform gratitude, we compare our gratitude experiences. You know, I used to say things like, other people have it worse, man. I should be thankful for where I am in my life, or simply focus on the positive. But gratitude cannot be bullied into existence. No, real gratitude grows in safety. I would love to share another personal moment in my life. A few years ago, before I understood any of this contextually, I struggled deeply with my self-image. I avoided looking at mirrors. I avoided really seeing myself, right? And if someone had told me a few years ago, just be grateful for your body, I wouldn't have known how. That's the truth. Because gratitude requires self-acceptance, and acceptance requires softness, and softness requires safety. Do you see, my friend? So instead of gratitude, what I practiced first was neutrality. I mean, I would look at myself in the mirror and say, this is my human body. Not beautiful, not ugly, not wrong, not amazing, just human. I mean, that neutrality slowly became safety. And safety slowly made room for appreciation. And appreciation eventually became gratitude. But it took time, it wasn't overnight. So maybe gratitude feels simple but hard because we try to skip the middle steps. We try to jump from pain to appreciation without honoring the space in between pain and appreciation. I want to say something very clearly here. Gratitude is not pretending everything is okay. No, that's not gratitude. Gratitude is not denying grief. Gratitude is not denying anger. Gratitude is not denying injustice. Gratitude is not denying pain. Gratitude is the ability to hold pain and beauty at the same time. And to be able to do that, that takes internal capacity. Which brings me back to something I've always talked about before: internal capacity, right? Your ability to hold discomfort without collapsing, your ability to hold joy without bracing, your ability to hold both without splitting. When my sleep was highly dysregulated, when my back pain was really loud, when I was transitioning out of structure into uncertainty in my life, I had a very low internal capacity. So expecting me back then to feel overflowing gratitude was very unrealistic. Instead, I practiced micro gratitude. And I mean micro, like really tiny. Not, I am grateful for my life. More like, I am grateful this sip of water feels cool going down my throat. I am grateful the sun is hitting my face right now. I am grateful my feet is touching the floor. I mean, tiny, sensory, present, micro gratitude moments. Because gratitude lives in the present moment. When our minds are in the future, when your mind is in fear, you're constantly in the future. And when your mind is in regret, you're constantly in the past. And gratitude is how you anchor yourself back to what's happening right now. But only now feels safe enough. That's the only way you can really feel gratitude. I mean, there was a morning in my life during that season where I walked outside before the sunrise. I hadn't slept much. My back was hurting. I felt behind in life. I felt very uncertain about what was going on in my life. And I remember standing there barefoot on the grass, just hearing the birds chirping and just really feeling the sensation of the winds on my skin. And for about 10 seconds, I felt my nervous system soften. I mean, nothing in my external life had changed. No, but my body just felt at ease for about 10 seconds. And in that moment, gratitude wasn't forced. It was organic. It wasn't, I should be grateful. It was, wow, man, this is beautiful. And that's when I understood something. Gratitude is not a mental exercise. It's a physiological permission you give your body. Another reason gratitude feels hard, at least from my experience, is comparison. And being on social media has really amplified this. I mean, we see someone, traveling the world, someone celebrating like their promotion, someone thriving, and we tell ourselves, be grateful for what you have. But underneath that statement, there's shame. And shame blocks gratitude. Because the story shame tells us is you're not enough, you should be further by now, you're behind. And you can't truly feel gratitude in your body when you're constantly attacking yourself. For me, I had to soften out of self judgment before gratitude could actually become a real felt experience in my life. Because when I was in constant self attack mode, gratitude felt fake. It felt like I was lying to my body. But when I began speaking to myself differently, less pressure, more compassion, less timeline, more patient, my body started to relax. My body stopped bracing. And I've seen that relaxed bodies can access gratitude. I also think gratitude is hard because it requires some form of humility. And humility can feel vulnerable. I mean, to say, I'm grateful for this small moment is to admit that small things matter because they really do. And when you have lived in high performance environments like myself when I was in the military, small things felt insignificant, right? Because you're trained to push, to endure, to perform, to achieve. It's not right or wrong because gratitude actually slows you down. Gratitude asks you to notice. And initially, noticing can feel unfamiliar, even sometimes uncomfortable. There's also something I've learned on my journey with gratitude. Gratitude cannot coexist with constant urgency, right? If your nervous system is always in what's next? What am I missing? What's wrong? What needs fixing in my life? You'll miss it. You won't see what's already in front of you, right? Because I personally used to wake up immediately scanning my environment. I mean, the thought in my brain will be, okay, what needs to be done? What am I behind on? What should I fix now? Now, some mornings in my life, I wake up and I simply notice. I notice the fact that I am breathing. I notice the fact that I'm in this body. It sounds basic, but it is powerful. There's power in the ordinary things, my friend. I want to offer something practical. If gratitude feels hard in your life right now, don't start with, I am grateful for my life. No. Start with what feels 1% okay right now. Not amazing, not perfect, just 1% okay. Just maybe your coffee tastes good this morning. Maybe the air feels cool. Maybe your pet is sleeping beside you. Maybe your shoulders dropped for just 2 seconds. And let that be enough. Because gratitude grows from micro safety moments. There's also this myth that gratitude means contentment forever. It doesn't. I have seen in my life and my experience that you can be grateful and still want more. You can be grateful and still be healing. You can be grateful and still be grieving. Gratitude is simply awareness of what's already in front of you, what's already existing in your life. Sometimes I think back on the younger versions of myself. I mean, the one who skipped a graduation ceremony back home in Nigeria because I was ashamed of my grades in university. If you had told me back then, be grateful for your education, I wouldn't have heard you. I would have been like, what are you talking about? Because I felt like a total failure. Gratitude couldn't land in my body then because shame was so loud. I mean, for me, it took years of experimenting, failing, trying again, moving countries, joining the army, living the army, rebuilding my life from scratch before I could look back in my life to my life and feel genuine gratitude for that version of me. Not because it was perfect, but because, damn, she kept going. And gratitude deepened when my compassion deepened for myself. So maybe the real question isn't why is gratitude hard? No. Maybe it's where does my nervous system still feel unsafe? Maybe it's where am I still attacking myself? Maybe it's where am I comparing my journey with the next person? Maybe it's where am I bypassing pain in my life? Because when you soften in those places, gratitude doesn't need to be forced. It simply emerges. I want to end today's episode with something very simple. Gratitude is not about pretending your life is perfect. No. Gratitude is about noticing that even in the imperfections, there are moments of awe. Even in pain, there are micro softenings. Even in uncertainty, there are steady breaths. And if all you can access today is this, I am grateful that I'm still here in this body. That's enough. If all you can access is this, I am grateful for this single breath. That's enough. If all you can access is this, I am grateful that I am still trying. That's enough. Gratitude doesn't have to be loud, my friend. It doesn't have to be performative, my friend. It doesn't even have to be constant. Gratitude can be quiet, it can be brief, it can be 10 seconds barefoot on the ground and just simply listening to the birds and feeling the air on your skin. And sometimes that's where everything begins. If this resonated with you in any way, I want you to gently ask yourself, in this moment? What feels 1% okay right now? Not to override your pain, not to silence your struggle, but to give your nervous system just enough safety to remember that beauty still exists. Because I'll tell you this, my friend, it does. Even here, even right now in this moment. As always, I want to thank you so much for being here. I want to appreciate you for taking time out to listen to me. And I'm sending you so much love from my heart to yours. Thank you.